Interdimensional Dream Eaters. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Eliot Thompson, where he took 2,000 milligrams of Cannabutter with 200 milligrams of Valerian root. And here's the full report details. Okay, so here we got another edible experience, and a combination this time with Valerian root. This is of some homemade Cannabutter, meaning that it was full spectrum cannabis at a ridiculous dosage of 2,000 milligrams. The dose is a guess, but either way, he must have ate a ton. Valerian root can act as a sedative and anxiolytic, also acting as a sleep aid, which was how it was used here. Which in turn, this ends up being a vivid dream experience with what seems to be many underlying meanings and themes. There's some interesting things that are brought up in this experience, some you may not expect, so I'm sure you'll enjoy this. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. I've been smoking marijuana almost every day for over a decade. These days, that mostly involves vaping a few bags from my volcano. Yesterday I decided I would make Cannabutter with 20 grams of decarboxylated material I had left over from the vape. I don't consume edibles very often, maybe once a month. After the 4-hour process of making the butter is up, I'm excited to try some and dip a cookie into the melted butter, as I'm putting it into containers to go into refrigeration. I estimate that I consumed about 10% of the total butter, approximately 2,000 milligrams at 1,900 hours. 1,400 hours. I start to feel the effects coming on and realize that I'm a little bit more high than I intended to get. I carry out some breathing exercises, a short 5-minute meditation to compose myself, and then put on the Trailer Park Boys cartoon series to chill out. I watch this and a couple of Twitch streams throughout the evening, and I'm having a nice relaxing time by now, though keeping my head up and my eyes open is a conscious effort. 2,200 hours. I get up to go to the toilet and notice I have slight iridescent neon geometrical open eye visuals overlaying my vision. So I close my eyes and this increases the clarity and intensiveness of the visuals. I compare this to the end of an LSD trip. 2,300 hours. My wife decides it's time for bed and I agree. Though still very high and mildly tripping, I decided to take 200 milligrams Valerian root extract to help me to get off to sleep. 300 hours. I am at this stage in what I would call a partial lucid dream. I am aware that I am probably asleep because I am semi-consciously zooming around the universe at the speed of light having a pretty good time, but I don't have any control to manifest things in the dream. After what felt like 20 minutes of flying around in this state, 2 guardians, or rule enforcers, appeared on either side of me and told me I needed to return to my body. They looked like translucent blocks of morphing glass. I told them, no, I'm having a good time flying around. I don't need to return. It'll be fine. The guardians, or whatever they were, didn't care for my response and took me back to my body, where I was just floating above myself and my wife in bed. They showed me this weird silvery white wad thing, which looked like a manta ray attached to my head. Some part of its body looked like the arms of a praying mantis. My wife also had one attached to her head. The guardian, on my left, then told me I needed to get back into my body because this silvery white thing was going to uncouple for me and this would be very bad. I told them they weren't making sense and that this seemed unnecessary. At this point, the guardian on my right caused my body to dissolve right in front of me and told me the most disconcerting thing you can imagine. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was some horrifying revelation about humanity's dreams being food for this interdimensional race of silvery white manta ray things. I started being sucked into oblivion and was offered another chance to return to my body. This time I did without argument. I immediately wake up. The dream was still burnt into my memory. It felt as though I should forget it, but for some reason I couldn't. I realize that I'm still really stoned and start freaking out a little. I tend to go back to sleep, but when I close my eyes, I see an infinite mass of writhing black mechanistic tentacles. something I've seen in previous LSD trips. It takes me 2 hours to calm myself down enough to go back to sleep. 900 hours. I wake up feeling fine and sober. I think I might need a break from weed.